Oh, when you hear that music, you know what time it is.
I don't hear the music, man. I don't hear
You don't hear it, Coach?
Campbell, you hear it?
Uh-oh. What we got going on here? Oh, yeah. Now you guys hear it now. My bad. You hear it now, don't you, Coach? Y'all can hear it now, can't you?
Yeah, I got my man Emmett Jones. He ready. He got his popcorn.
They locked and loaded, boy.
He got his drink to the side. He ready to roll.
Those Gremlin fans been waiting on this one. We should have charged for this one, Coach. We should have charged.
Look,
they've been waiting on this one.
Hey, this blue bread. This is blue bread, as you say, Coach Campbell.
Ain't even no argument about this one, Coach. This is a blue blood.
He checking in from Monroe, baby. He representing Monroe right down the street.
Hey, let's find out where everybody checking in from. Let me know where you checking in from. Put your location.
Pacific Gold, put your location.
Put your location in there. I know we're going to have some Dallas, we're going to have it all. You know we got Chuck Hunt from Monroe, Louisiana. You know we got him. I would like to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky Miller, and my co-host, Mr. Stephen Campbell. But our featured host is none other than the SWAC legend himself, the SIAC Coach of the Year, the SWAC Coach of the Year, none other than my man, Johnnie Cole. Hey, Coach, before we get started, Coach, I got to ask both you and Campbell, how y'all doing today, man? We on the road, Coach, but how y'all doing?
Man, anytime get a chance to present our HBCU schools to the community and to the public, man, it's a great thing, man. It's a new day, and hopefully we bringing enough information out to the people that we do have scholarships. We do have men of character that's leading these young men. And, it's just a great atmosphere. And it's the biggest secret that's now revealed that the HBCUs are coming.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Campbell? What's going on? Hey, I appreciate you being available. Man, looked like we've been available all weekend to do these interviews. These coaches are freeing up now. Now they seem like they got some of the fall camp behind them, and we're able to sit down and have a conversation with them. What's going on with you, Mr. Campbell?
You see what I got behind me, man. You see what I got behind me. See, I keep trying to tell folks, that's my people down there. They got my business to start. So you see me with the Graham the Tiger, boy. Too many people can take that picture like that with that pose. See, hey man, I'm an honorary Graham fan. You know what I'm saying? They know my name down there off Exit 81. So man, listen, I'm excited. Grambling means a lot to me. Grambling's one of my favorite schools. Trumaine Johnson, coach, you know who that guy was. That All-American superstar was my favorite SWAC player of all time. So man, listen, I've always been a big fan of those folks down there at Grambling.
I seen him go to work, Coach. I was a freshman, and he coming around on that counter in that wing T offense, man, and then fake it like he gonna run, and then run that post corner. Yes, sir. I seen him catch 3 against us, Coach.
He go get it.
Hey, Coach. Grambling is no doubt a blue blood, Coach. And with coaching those big time brands, there's a certain level of pressure that comes along with these kind of jobs, Coach. You didn't have the pleasure of coaching at one of these blue bloods, Coach, but you won despite that. Can you personally imagine having the pressure of coaching at a blue blood such as a Grambling or Jackson State, Southern FAMU, Tennessee State, South Carolina State, coach, and what kind of pressure being at one of those schools could bring to a coach?
I'll be honest, Coach. I think it's magnificent. You know, one of the things about taking over a bad program, which that's my specialty, coming into bad situations and turning them around, is I never had to compete against winning. All I had to do was win 4 or 5 games, and I had time to wait. As long as I was making the program look like it's supposed to and cleaning it up and putting a face lift on it. But these guys, like you know, who we're about to introduce, and some of these other guys at these top programs, you know, winning is sometimes normal. So you got to come in there and make it happen, you know. And the thing about it is you don't get the time. Sometimes you don't get the time, especially now in this new age.
Hey, Coach, with no further ado, I have to admit, I have to acknowledge, Coach, you're great. Not only this gentleman that's about to be introduced, you got introduced to him very early in his coaching career, and I know you're very proud of him and you recognize him as one of your proteges, Coach. This is another situation where I believe you not only was able to identify a coach, but not only able to coach the game very well, but you were able to identify talent at the coaching level. And with no further ado, Coach, I allow you to introduce one of your proteges, one of the men that you got introduced to very young in his coaching career. Go ahead, Coach, and introduce your guy, Coach.
Without a doubt, you know, he's special to me, you know, and always have been. You know, my brother actually played in Nebraska where he finished up his college career, and they had a mutual friend, and you know, he was looking for a job, you know, and you know, we brought him in. He was raw, coming from an option offense, even out of high school, throwing the football. So, I mean, running the football. So when he came, not only was he just, you know, fresh, you know, he really wasn't throwing the ball as well or even seen or been in the offense. And, you know, but the thing about him, he allowed me and trusted in me that I could point him in the right direction. And we really got personal. You know, his family knew my family, his wife and kids, and we did a lot of things together that we can't talk about on the air. But you know, he went on. I hated to see him go so early when he left us. But one of the things he did, he came in and said, "Coach, man, you know, hey, just give me a chance to get back to New Orleans." He actually left us and went to Nickel State. It was for more money. It was for another better opportunity that we felt were good for him. And he trusted in me, and I told him to go ahead. Great friend of mine. I know at Grambling if they could be a little more patient, but we'll see, you know. But no further ado, my friend Mickey Joseph. Coach Joseph.
Yeah.
Hey, look, they ain't shut the power off over there. The Wi-Fi ain't working, is it?
No. No, it's working. It's working because I'm at my house. But, you know, you're right. You know, when I came to Johnny and them, I had to learn how to coach. Johnny showed me how to draw circles. Johnny showed me how to coach. Johnny took over my individual with my team when my receivers played bad 1 week. So they showed me how to do it. They showed me how to check my feelings at the door. I appreciate LC and I appreciate Johnny because they took me under their wing. But at the end, you know, when I had to leave, I had to get back in that Louisiana retirement system. And I did have a wife back in Louisiana, and I was trying to keep her. If I foresee the future, you know, I should have stayed there because she wound up divorcing me anyway. You know, so but I appreciate LC and Johnny because they gave me my first shot. People don't understand that. People think that I'm not a swag guy. My first full-time job.
Hey, that internet in Grambling is a bug, ain't it, Coach? It didn't got another one.
Hey.
But we got, like I say, man, we got patience with Coach. We know that he is he's out in wherever. Hey, Coach, what's that exit you always say, Campbell, that they work off of in
I know coming from Dallas.
Hello?
Hey, Coach, you good, Coach?
Down there, X81.
Yeah, I'm good. So you know, it was my first
One
full-time
thing
job.
about
Was on the
Grambling, you
SWAC.
got to be going to Grambling to get to Grambling.
Yeah,
You know?
you can't
And,
just get lost and
you
say
know,
you're
it's a
gonna wind
great
up in Grambling.
program. It's been a great program for a long, long time.
He's back, Coach.
I'm back.
Okay.
I hate to do this on my phone because my phone rings a lot. I try to do it on my iPad, but I'm not in the office. I got out the office because we practice usually in the morning. But like I said, I'm grateful to LC and Johnny because they took me under their wing. But more Johnny because I was with Johnny all the time. You know, I was with Johnny every day of the week for 7 days a week. So I learned. So people say when I want to start calling plays, you know, right now, I mean, I said we're one of the best play callers that ever been around, Johnnie Cole. You know, but you know, people be in their feelings about certain things, and that's one thing about HBCUs. We get in our feelings, and we don't separate business from personal feelings, and that's one thing I don't like about it because sometimes we get in our personal feelings and they get in the way of the business. So I'm hoping one day that they will grow up and say, hey, this is business, this is personal. Business is winning games. Personal is, hey, don't worry about what's going on. Is he winning games? Is he not winning games? But that's enough said on that, you know. But I enjoy my time here at Grambling right now. We got it together. We putting it together, and it's gonna work for us. It's gonna work for us because I finally know how to operate here.
Hey, Coach, let me get in here and say this, Coach, because I want to acknowledge something very early, Coach. You had one of the highest of the highs of anybody that to really start off their SWAC coaching career. You were able to beat Jackson State, which many of these schools weren't able to do. Like there are schools in the 5 years I've been covering the SWAC, there are schools that still have not beat Jackson State, and they've had 5 or 6 chances to do so. You did it on your first chance, Coach, experiencing that high and then ultimately having the season that you had. Can you just tell me what that victory against Jackson State meant and why weren't you guys able to sustain that level, that momentum throughout the rest of the season?
Well, you know, I never lost to Jackson State. And so I'm not intimidated by Jackson State. Like a lot of people get intimidated by them because of, you know, what happens in pregame and they look good and stuff like that. And my thing is, let's just play the game and see what happens. You know, we had them at Alabama State. We beat them in Mobile, you know, and then we came back and we played them at Alcorn. We beat them at Jackson. And then I came to Grambling. We had to go back to back and we beat them back to back. And then we came here and we beat them. But I take my hat off to TC because TC was under, you know, scrutiny also because they thought, you know, Dion, but Jackson State always was a winner. So to beat Jackson State, that was a great task. But we didn't beat the schools that we were supposed to beat, and that's on me. That's why I always say elevation comes with separation. So we had to separate from some people to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes. But the Jackson State victory was a big victory, but it just was one victory. It don't mean nothing because we went 5-7. So now we fixed the things we needed to fix. And now we're going to get on top of things and we're going to say, you know what? Every time we get off the bus, it's somebody's Super Bowl. So my thing is, you know me, if people know me personally, I'm going to give you a Super Bowl. You know, people right now in the SWAC, they're coming in, they're saying, hey, you know, they the champs. They already crowning themselves. But like I told my kids, they picked us 5th. But every one of them dudes who saying they picked us 5th, those teams got to see us. They got to see us. So the reporters and the newspapers and all that, they did their job. We have a 5-7 team and we lost everybody. I lost 9 kids to the portal. I lost a lot to graduation. But right now, this roster is my roster. I mean, we got 4 to 5, 6 kids. That's from Broderick roster, Hughes roster. So this is my biological kids. So now let's go. You want walk? We're going to give you walk.
You muted, Coach.
Oh, I muted?
No, not you. Not you,
Hey,
Coach Cole.
one of the coach, man.
We can't hear you, Coach.
John, you got
No,
that
it seems like you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
we
can hear
can.
you.
Y'all, you can hear him, Coach?
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Coach.
One of the things, you coming behind some greats, Eddie Robinson, of course, Doug Williams, Melvin Spears, Coach Fobbs, um, and you probably understood, some of the pressures of winning there, and it sounded like some of the kids didn't understand. And you use that word in your last statement about target, and when we started winning Alabama State, it wasn't about, oh man, that's Alabama State. It was about, oh, we got to bring our A game.
Yes.
Did you feel that this year? And coach, you coming from a Division 1A, the University of Nebraska as the interim head football coach. So it was a lot on you. It was a lot of targets on you. I don't know if you knew it or that.
Yeah. Oh no, we knew that, but you know what? I'm a Joseph. We always been a target. We was a Joseph before I went to Nebraska. I played at Shaw, so we was always a target. But I always told my kids, pressure is a privilege. When it's pressure, guess what? That means something good about to happen. But at the end of the day, we got to go out there. We got to execute as a team in all three phases. But at the end of the day, I really don't care that they want us to be their Super Bowl, but I'm gonna give them a Super Bowl, Johnny. I got to give them a Super Bowl because they say they're not, but we see kids that don't play for 3 weeks, but when they play Grambling, they play, and they don't play for the rest of the season. So that's their Super Bowl. But they know, like I said, they see me, they know how to find me, and they know to talk to me. But my boys will be ready to go. They'll be ready for swag play. We got to deal with Langston first. Langston's going to be a really good football team. And then we got to go to Ohio State and play that money game. And I said it. We go play that money game. And then we'll get down to business after that. But we love what we're doing right here with this team. We love this team. I love this coaching staff. And so I'm looking for good things to come.
Yeah. You had a whole bunch of movement, coach. A whole bunch of movement. Did you lose your defense coordinator or more so your offense receiver coach? You made a lot of changes. You want to talk about some of the guys that you brought in?
Well, I brought in Eric Losey. I was with him at Alcorn as the O-line coach. I moved Reggie Nelson to my general manager. Joe Nix left us. And then I brought in Wyatt Anderson as my tight ends coach. And then on defense, we brought Willie Garcia in. And also at the receiver position, we brought Reggie Moore in, a guy that Johnny, brought Reggie Moore in. But, we brought Coach Taylor in, from the D-line coach, assistant D-line coach. Jalen Ivory's going to take over the main squeeze of the D-line. But I brought some guys in that's going to see things my way because I learned this from LC and Johnny. If you don't do it my way, I'm going to get rid of you. And listen, and that's why I preach. Like, it's no way in the world everybody on the staff did their job the way you wanted to do it to get the job done. So if they don't do the job the way I want it done, then I'm gonna get rid of you. Yeah. Because people say, well, think about the family. No, you should think about your family before you cross me. And that's how I am. And that's how I am. And I tell people this: my brother Vance had to let my brother Sammy go when he was at the 49ers. He had to cut his own brother. So if I tell you a story like that, why would you cross me?
Right.
Why would you cross me? It's common sense not to cross me, but some people take you for granted. And I'm not to be played with because I don't play with grown men. I tell you what I need to tell you, and I do what I need to do. I told him the story, Johnny, when we played bad at Troy, we had all those drops. You was in my meeting room. You was in my individual, but I didn't quit as a young coach. I didn't get an attitude. I learned what you told me. Hey, Mickey, they need to catch balls here. They need to catch more balls. I learned all that. You need to break it down in the meeting room. Hey, you need to draw circles better. I didn't break in 1999 when you was drilling me, and I had to spend every day with you. I had to drive you around. I had to do everything. But as a young coach, I appreciated that because you was always giving me knowledge. Yeah. He was always giving me knowledge of what was going on in this college profession. And you know what? People get their personal feelings in some things. And I don't do that. Business is business. Personal business is personal business.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Coach, that you are one of the guys that, never took that personal. We still friends today, and you still, we reach out or we see each other and we greet each other. I'm just like you. you got some guys that take stuff like that personal. They don't look at the positive behind it. They look at, oh, this guy was on me. And my love, man, I give you the shirt off my back. You know what I'm saying? But like you say, business is business and pleasure is pleasure. And it's my job as the office coordinator at the time or head coach is to put my foot in your ass. I don't have a problem with that because I believe in winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And unfortunately for me, it's happening. Hell, hey Mick, I'm the head JV middle school coach right now, and I had to tell the kids.
You running that hobo offense, ain't you?
I had to tell the kids, look, don't get upset at me. I just got a passion. I love you guys. I do. I had to tell them, I love them. I had to give each one of them a hug. I said, like, sit your ass down. Let's get to business.
Yeah, let's get to business.
So no, I just tickle, but Coach, man, hey, the hump is on your back, baby.
Oh, no doubt. And you know what?
The Grambling folks, hey, we've been talking this blue bread. You at a blue bread program.
Yeah.
And sometime it ain't no tomorrow. You got to coach each day like it ain't no tomorrow. Because they expect the G to win.
Exactly. And like I said Sunday in church, when I found this program was broke. Because when you find a program losing like Grambling, the years they lost 5 years in a row, that means the program's broke. So we all got to sit down, administration, me, and everybody else, and figure out what's going wrong. If I don't get it done in 2 years, and they say, hey, Mickey, you got to move in 2 years, okay, what's going wrong? What are we not doing? Are we hiring the wrong coach to function the way that we need to function here at Grambling? What's going wrong? But I think at the end of the day, after a year, I kind of figured it out how we need to function here, because people understand this. When I went to Tech in 2016, I've been in the PWIs all that time, and say call a spade, they function a little differently. They function a little differently. I never had to deal with her. I don't think O had to deal with the president. I don't think O had to deal with the AD until they probably let him go, but they walked away with $15 million. So I had to learn how to deal with the president, and we got a good president, we got a good AD, but I had to learn how to deal with that, because when I was at Nebraska and I was the interim head coach for 9 weeks, it was one signature on that line. So now when I look at papers, it's like 5 signatures. So I had to figure out, like, why all these signatures on. So I had to learn how to work with them. I had to learn how to, if I want to be here, I had to learn how to work with them in their world. Yeah, because I had been out of their world for so long. And 6, 7 years is a long time to be out the world and come back in. Because I came back in thinking the kids gonna be, no, I don't have the resources to get these kids back the way we need to get them back. So I had to change the way I practice. I had to change the way I meet. I had to change a lot of things that I believed in for so long, because I had to figure out how to do this at Grambling. And I don't figured it out. Now, one thing about, my daddy raised us now, not to be no fool. Figure out where you at in the hood, or figure out where you at in a gated community. Right. And so I figured out where I'm at.
Right. Speaking of the 2-year contract, are they holding you, or they holding you to that? It was public, so it ain't nothing. It was public knowledge that you signed a 2-year contract, and I guess that was something new, or is that something you had something to do with it too? Because I know you got your agent. Now that you're back in that seat, you're back, in there. I know you're gonna have some choices, but have you guys sit down and maybe they talked about extension, or is it still the 2 years? And I think it's an 8-game winning season.
Yeah, 8 games. 8 games, then it's automatic extension for a year. But we're gonna sit down and talk. I let my agent sit down and do that. I got a agent, Robbie Poplin, but I'm going with another agent, also that's gonna deal with this side, But I'm not really worrying about the 2 years, because I'm gonna get it done. And if I don't get it done and they ask me to leave, I did the best I can do. Then I'm a ride. I'm a ride. But I have a resume, so I'm gonna work somewhere. I'm gonna work somewhere. So it's not like they I didn't get it done in 2 years. Well, Hugh didn't get it done in 2 years. Roger didn't get it done his last 2 years. But everybody lands on their feet. But when the program is broke, and you don't have the resources that you're supposed to have, it takes about 4 to 5 years to fix it.
I
Hey,
got one more
Coach,
question.
go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
Before
Campbell.
go. When you came in, and I noticed who you hired, what was because of the success you had with Fobbs and that coaching staff. Did that have something to do with your the way you hired this first year? Like, man, we had it going on with this staff.
Yes.
The only change is you and Fobb. It seemed like you kind of brought those guys back in and say, we could, if we did it then, we could do it now. Was that
Yes.
kind of some of your philosophy when you first came in?
That was it, coming here, because, understand the world that I was in before, I couldn't afford some of the guys that I wanted to go get. Because when I called them with the salaries, they were like, nah, dog, I'm good. So, when you talk about guys that I wanted to get, they're making $300,000-400,000. So they're not going to leave as position coaches. They're not going to leave me to come be a coordinator. So I had to get the guys that I can pay for, and I made some mistakes with that first staff. Sometimes your first staff's your worst staff, but like I said, if I was going to elevate, I had to separate, and I wasn't scared to do that. And I think some people are scared to do that at HBCUs. They scared to separate. And I'm not scared to separate, because at the end of the day, only one person going to judge me, and that's God Almighty. And that's why I don't listen to all this noise out there. Like I always say, if you got something to say, you know where to find me. You know where to find me. I'm at the field house. Find me. I go to the field house and I come home. I live right here in Grambling. So you know where to find me. So all that foolishness that they talking out there, man, I don't listen to all that. Keep paying your taxes and let me make this 6-digit salary. Keep paying your taxes.
Hey, Coach, even with all of the, I don't know any details or anything like that, but you decided to make wholesale staff changes.
Yes,
but
sir.
I wanna say this, Coach. You guys were just a few points
Absolutely
from really playing in the SWAC championship, to be honest with you. There was a 5 overtime loss to Prairie View. There's a 2-point loss to Alcorn State. You lost by a touchdown to Texas Southern. I mean, Bethune-Cookman, you were right there on the road winning that game. You beat an Alabama State team that showed some grit despite not having losing several quarterbacks. And then you had a tough loss in Huntsville. And then for all accounts and for all intents and purposes, in my opinion, you still had a chance in the Bayou Classic, Coach. Mm-hmm. So you guys were right there, Coach.
Right,
you were right there. With that being the case, being right there, Coach, why did you end up making those wholesale changes on your staff?
Because I need to elevate. I need elevation requires separation. That's what I was always taught in my family. If we gonna elevate, we can't let my uncle come back to the house no more. If we gonna do this, we can't let it's business. It's business. I looked at it and said, okay, this is what we were bad at. This is where we didn't take control of the game. This is where this position didn't play well. So I had to go back and decide that, and it's not going to take me long. Like, I'm going on my 28th year, so nobody really can tell me that I don't know what I'm looking at, because a lot of people try to tell you, "Oh, you don't." I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. You probably don't know what you're doing at your job, but I know after 28 years, and I've been on both sides of the tracks. There ain't too many people been on both sides of the tracks and been from NAIA to Power 5. Check people's resumes. They ain't been where I've been.
Yeah.
So I knew what I needed to do, and I did it within 48 hours after the Bayou Classic. Yeah. And that's the business part. It could have been my brother Sammy. If he didn't do what I said do, hey man, I'm going a different direction. Tell me I can help you. That's my speech, because I warned you and I told you, do what I asked you to do. And if your players don't, only way I can judge you is how your position play. If your position played at a poorly, then I'm gonna get rid of you, because that I didn't hire you for your position to play poorly, and I don't like excuses.
Yeah,
I don't like excuses. I like
one of the things watching y'all, Coach, especially I've seen in the Prairie View game, it's like you just was 1 or 2 plays away from making the big play, But the problem was, to me, from evaluating you guys, is that nothing was never set up. You know, it wasn't set up to get that one play that you need. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like you shot all your guns, and when you needed the other gun, you forgot to have it loaded, and you was capped,
Yes.
capped, and you just needed that one play, and it just never came about.
Well, it goes back to like I was telling the offense staff today, because I'm in there and I'm in there strong. It's about organization. It's about knowing what the defense want to give you, knowing what you can do against the defense. But the first thing you need to do, establish the run. You got to be to see if those 3 techs and those noses want to take on run blocks. Because one thing they can do in this league, they can rush the passer, and they can play man defense. They can play man back there. So now I want to test your linebackers, and I want to test your D lineman, and I want to test your D coordinator gap integrity. Are they going to be in their gaps? And I'm going to hit you over and over again and make sure that you're consistent being in your gaps. If you show me that, then like you said, Johnny, then I'm going to move to something else. So one thing's going to set up another thing. And so we're doing a great job with it right now. Sharon Carey's coaching the quarterbacks. We're doing a great job. Chris Peters is coaching the running backs. So we're doing a great job of setting stuff up. But we're working together. And the defensive staff, they rolling, with Willie Garza and Deli in the back end, and Coach Rollins at the linebacker position. So, we was in sync last year. And like I said, we lost some close games last year. So I had to go back and look at those games and see how we lost them. And I thought we lost them because we didn't get a first down in 4-minute offense. We didn't execute in the red zone. We didn't execute in overtime. So when I looked at it, it was always, when I look at the numbers, because men and women lie, numbers don't. The numbers didn't show me that the offense did what they had to do, because they was in the hundreds, and the defense was in the top 10 and top 20. So numbers, I look at numbers. I'm a numbers guy. So I look at numbers, and numbers tell you who you are. If you're an 8-5 team, then after a bowl game, then guess what? That's what you are. You're an 8-5 football team.
Yeah.
So I go on the numbers, and the numbers didn't make sense to me. So that's why I had to do what I had to do. And like I say, it's just business.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like you right there, Coach, because you beat Jackson State, you beat Alabama State. If you put all the teams together, you beat 2 of the top 4 teams in the conference. Well, you beat the national championship team, and then you beat another team who will probably rank 3rd, and then you lose to all the bottom teams as well. So you could tell it was some, you could tell that's some stuff going on, not necessarily in the locker room per se.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. We got total control. Total control. It's our kids in there now. So nobody can go in his other kid's ear and say, man, we should be doing this, because now I don't set it up. I don't recruited all these kids. All these kids, they know what I want. They know how I want things. They know that, hey, pick the locker room up. The locker room ain't up and ain't up. Guess what? Go put your grass shoes on, because I'm gonna run you. So they know not to play with me on some of the things. I have no coaches in the building that when I say something, before I get to the stop sign, somebody's calling me, telling what I said in my staff meeting. Man, I don't get down like that. Gangsters rule with silence. That's what my daddy taught me. So when it comes to this football program, I'm going to move in silence. I don't be in all these talk shows. I do this for y'all. I don't do all that. I'm a football coach. I'm not a politician. I'm a football coach. I don't have to sell myself, because at the end of the day, it's football. And that's what I try to do. I try to coach football, and that's all I want to do. But I want my business to stay inside my building. I don't need everybody knowing what's going on. We have a really good football team. Because nobody knows what's going on inside our building. But everybody knows pick fifth, because they know nothing about this football team. They know nothing about this staff. That's just the media. So I tell the media all day, do your job. Come to practice. I got open practice. I don't hide nothing from nobody. Everybody running the same stuff,
Damn, Coach, it look like you need to put a helmet on. You ready to put your pads back on, ain't you?
Hey, look, Johnny, I told him I didn't start losing until I started coaching. I'm quarterback. I'm going 9-1 at Nebraska. I'm going 10-0 at Nebraska.
Hey, I feel the fight in you, Coach.
Oh no, yeah,
I'm getting
look,
fired up. I'm
yeah,
ready
but
to.
you know, they played with me the first year. I ain't gonna let you play with me twice. You know that, Johnny. And Johnny, you be proud of me because I've been good. It's not the Mickey you know in 1999 when you said, "Hold up," in Tuskegee, Mickey, don't slap that boy. So I'm about to slap him, Johnny. He was talking noise. I was about to slap him.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. Go ahead, Coach.
I'm gonna let Campbell in here, but Coach, when I first met you on your first interview, when you were, I guess, a candidate for the job, you came across as such a nice, kind man, just a good guy.
I am a good guy.
Today, it's a guy with I see the fire in you. I see the desire in you, Coach. And I'm not saying you changed as a person because I don't know you personally, but it's good to see that you got that fire, Coach, because that's what's needed in this sport. We need men with passion and with fire.
And you're right. And I've been had a lot of fire, but sometimes people look at the fire and they take it the wrong way. So after a year, so I see what some of the people say, like, okay, well, I'm gonna give you Mickey J. You know, I'm not gonna give you Mickey Joseph. I'm gonna give you Mickey J. So if I give you Mickey J, this is what you're gonna get. You know, this is what you're gonna get. But I'll tell you, like, you know, it's been a great journey here at Grambling. You know, I know they want to win, and I want to win, and we will win. But the fire is here, and like I tell my teams every day, they picked us fifth, so they want war. So guess what? We're gonna give them war. They want Super Bowl. We're gonna give them a Super Bowl, and I'm gonna make sure because now you said, okay, you let me get close to you. So you should have got me this first year because this second year, I'm trying to bury you. I'm trying to bury you every single game. And after the game, I just want to shake your hand and tell you to get better next week because that's how I feel right now. And that's how my boys feel because remember what I said, these are my kids now. These kids believe in what I believe in. And it's so hard with this transfer portal. People don't understand. You got to get these transfer portal kids. You got to get the right kids in here. Because if you get the wrong kids in here, they'll tear your team apart. And you can't let your assistant coaches talk you into taking a bad player. You can't let them do that. And I didn't let nobody talk me into all these kids that's in this building. I know these kids personally. And I tell coaches, if I don't like them, then you're not taking them. So I like all the kids that's in the building. We got a great group of kids. They love being in there. They love me. I love them. We work together, and we're looking for war.
Well, Coach, listen, I'm super excited to talk to you. As you can see, I got the representative Grambling behind me.
Coach,
let me tell you something, Coach. I know about them folks at X81. I've done business with them. I'm very proud. And I'm going to tell you what I do know. And there's a famous video of Eddie Roberts on the chalkboard talking about you whooped that man across from you.
Yes.
See, coaches from Grambling, people from Grambling, they don't do all that slick talking. See, what I like about you, Coach, and I think what people from Grambling that I know they like about you, you are straight ahead with the talk. We're not going left, we're not going right. It's directly front. So, Coach, I know a lot of people respect you for this type of talk that you do, because that's what G-men are about. They ain't all that fancy talking and, talking trash, talking and stuff. Grambling men don't do that. You know what I mean? They do it on the field. So I'm just going to tell you what I do know about that. Now, I thought something I heard that you made a lot of conversations and discussion about the portal. And I wanted to talk to you about your team and also talk about some of your players that are going to be highlighted. One of the things when I was looking at your recruiting, I read somewhere where you said, you know what? I feel really good because I recruited about half of my freshman class. Yes. So I feel really good. So the guys that we brought in through the portal are guys that we felt could make an immediate impact. So let's talk about the guys, because it looks like you went for junior college guys that were hungry. It looked like you didn't go for those guys that are, hey, I'm at a Power 5, I should be a prima donna. But it looked like you recruited guys that are hungry, and that's what G-Men are about. So let's talk about your recruits that you brought in through the portal and some of the maybe some of the underclassmen that you brought in.
Well, you know, when you talk about the portal kids, you can't get food with this Power 5 stuff, because some of these kids are walk-ons at a Power 5 and they'll say a Power 5 bounce back. See, you can't fool me with that. So we got a kid, Terrell Rabbie from Middle Tennessee that can play. You know, we got Kendrick the Banks kid from Ole Miss that can play. So we have kids that we wasn't fooled. We wasn't fooled about this Power 5 bounce back. Either we dug into you now. We dug into you now. But like I said, I redshirted 20 to 24 of my freshmen. So now my freshmen, they're not 17 and 18 no more. They're 18 and 19. So I didn't go out and bring a whole bunch of freshmen in. I brought some more JUCO kids in because JUCO kids are hungry. And I brought some transfer kids in also. But at the end of the day, when they talk about portal kids, I lost 9 in the portal. And I was the first one to say it, that when they take kids for me to go to Power 5, they should have a buyout. They should pay the school money, not me. They should pay the money back to the school. So now all these coaches now want to say, oh, this ain't fair. No, y'all should have said that in the beginning. Now y'all saying it. Y'all had the stage in the beginning to say it. But the kids we brought in, I thought it, like T said, kid from Southern, he's a no-brainer that we was gonna bring in. He had college reps. He didn't have the career he wanted at Southern. So I watched him. I got to watch him every weekend because when I was breaking Southern down, because I watched Southern every game and I watched him. So he was a kid that I was intrigued with because I said, man, this kid can really play. You gotta polish him up a little bit, but he got a great arm. He got poise. And guess what? He got heart because you seen him stand in the pocket with that pressure coming in his face and delivers the ball. So that was a good feeling for us. But most of our kids came on defense. Our D linemen came on defense. We got Big Ike from Nevada. We got Shane from a JUCO. We got Warren from East Texas A&M. Now I'm not saying their last name. Come and make them go search because I don't want to give all my secrets away. But we got some dudes in the building. But also those freshmen that I recruited, because I recruited that freshman class. They can flat out play, but they won't be here very long because as soon as they play, they're going to do what? They're going to leave. We just got the big Boston kid from Ole Miss, a big 6'8" tackle that was Ole Miss, and we got him. We got the Ackerman kid, a 6'8" kid from St. Louis that qualified late. So we got some dudes in the building right now from the transfer portal, but we also got some freshmen that came in here also that's going to help our redshirt freshmen. So we're going to have about 24 redshirt freshmen out there. And those kids are really lighting it up right now because they're working. They're working their tails off right now. And they're giving Grambling everything that they can give Grambling. They're giving it. But at the end of the day, it's one family, one legacy. One family, one legacy. Focus and finish. Focus and finish.
Well, Coach, let me ask you this question. I want to talk about some of the guys that were highlighted on the All SWAC team because those are the guys that I believe, as you say, are your guys. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That you coached them up and they didn't leave. They wanted to be there. So let's just kind of talk about a couple of those guys and what they're going to bring to the table as far as leadership. So I want to start. You got Brian Cage, defensive lineman, All SWAC first team. What is he going to do? Because you've got these other guys that you said are going to be playing next to him. What does Cage do? Is he a leader? Is he got this? Is he a quiet guy? What kind of guys and what do you expect from him this season?
Well, Bryce Cage. I'm telling you, Bryce Cage, he was a kid. I told him, I said, don't go to Utah State. I said, come to Grambling. He went to Utah State. He called me. He said, Coach, should I go to class? He said, because you was right about everything. Oh, yeah. I told you there was an odd front. There was a 3-3 stack, and they was going to have you at that 4-eye. You in a 4-eye. So Bryce Cage is a kid that I thought was held ridiculously last year. That he should have been first team last year, but it was held. So now they had to give him preseason first team. He's a kid. He's an NFL kid. He's a kid that can play on the next level. And I've been told this by a person that I know that coaches in the NFL, who's my brother, that this kid's got NFL talent. So we really enjoy how Bryce. Now, Bryce is a leader, but Bryce, when I talked to Bryce about leadership, and Bryce said he's like a wolf. He said he lead from the back. So I had to go back home that night and look and see how wolves lead. And he's right. The big time wolf leads from the back. He walks behind the pack. And that's what, but he's still a leader. At the end of the day, Bryce gonna do a whole bunch for us. We love Bryce. Butch is playing his butt off. He's a great leader. He's on our leadership council. And he only really talks to me. He only really talks to me and his coaches. But if things are going wrong, he's going to be vocal and say, hey, we got to get this thing going. Now, if anybody can shut down practice, he can. So sometimes I take him out to drill. because he shuts down practice. Because I told him, I said, if you don't get out of practice, we're going to chip you. And when we chip you, that means we're going to chip you in your ribs. And I don't want to hurt my own players, so I take him out. But we love having Bryce. I think Bryce is on, Ford School, Southeastern, Texas State, Utah State than us. So we enjoy Bryce. Bryce going to graduate. So that's one thing people not understand. And also, I'm getting them here after 2 or 3 schools, and I'm still graduating. Nobody want to say that. Gramblin's still graduating. Dr. LaMelle making sure we still graduate these kids, So people not talking about that.
And that's a good brother. I know him very well. I knew him when I was down there hanging out in the ground. Now, Coach, one of the biggest things, and you're a guy, even though you're an offensive guy, you got a defensive mindset.
Yes.
You got a punter that's going to be able to flip the field, to set up your defense for a guy like, hey, let's talk about John Stefano, who's your all-conference punter.
Well, Johnny's the reason that we went to morning practice, because Johnny was like, Coach, we need to practice in the morning, because we'll have more energy in the morning, because it's so draining, in the afternoon, because, how you want us to practice. So I said, Johnny, you know what? Let's try it. Johnny's a 22, 23-year-old from SMU. And he should have rugby. Like I said, sometimes on a rugby, he should have just ran the ball, because they just turn and run. But Johnny's a great leader. Johnny's on our leadership council also. He can flip the field. He also can kick off, and he can kick extra points. But we love having Johnny.
Now, Coach, I'm going to go to the other side, and you got a big offensive lineman, Taj Martin.
Yes.
Second team all-SWAC. Once again, Grambling, and Coach, Coach, listen, you're from Louisiana. Coach, you know this, so I'm going to kind of say something for some of the younger people. Grambling was always known for nasty defensive linemen and big offensive linemen. Of course, they had a lot of skilled guys, of course, the Doug Williams and the Charlie Jones.
My name is James Jr., and I won $500 on the lunch money for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.